I know how to read people, and I know when something's wrong. 29 years as a firefighter taught me that. But nothing prepared me for what I saw on my doctor's computer screen that Tuesday morning. It was supposed to be a good day. My 62nd birthday. Andrea, my daughter, had moved back home 6 months earlier with her husband Kyle. "Dad, you shouldn't be alone in this big house," she'd said. "Let us take care of you." After Helen died 2 years ago from cancer, I'd spent too many nights alone in that 4-bedroom house in Tucson, so I said yes. I thought it would be nice. I thought I was lucky. I was wrong. The call came at 6 in the morning. Dr. Vincent Reyes. Vinny and I went back 40 years, since the night I pulled him from a burning apartment building when he was in medical school. We'd been friends ever since. "Richard, don't drink your morning coffee today." His voice was tight, controlled, the way mine used to sound on the radio when I was trying to keep a rookie calm at a bad scene. "Don't eat anything Andrea prepares. Come to my clinic right now." My hand stopped halfway to the coffee maker. Andrea always made my coffee, every single morning, for 6 months. "Vinny, what are you talking about? I can't explain over the phone. Come now. Use the side entrance. Don't tell Andrea where you're going. You're scaring me." "Good. You should be scared. And Richard, your life depends on this." He hung up. I stood there in my kitchen, looking at the coffee maker Andrea had already set up the night before. She did that every evening. Put in the filter, measured the grounds, filled the water. All I had to do was press the button. She was so thoughtful, or so I'd thought. I left the coffee untouched. I told Andrea I had an early breakfast meeting with some old guys from the department. She smiled, kissed my cheek, said, "Happy birthday, Dad. We'll celebrate tonight. I'm making your favorite dinner." 20 minutes later, I was sitting in Vinny's office. He closed the door, closed the blinds, then turned his computer screen toward me. "I need you to stay calm," he said. Then he showed me. It was a toxicology report. My name at the top, the blood work he'd run 2 weeks earlier during my annual physical. "I thought something was off," he said. "You've been coming in complaining about memory problems, confusion, dizziness. You said you felt like you were losing your mind." I thought it was grief, or maybe early Alzheimer's. That's what I thought too, until I ran an expanded panel. He pointed at a line on the screen. Lorazepam, high levels. And here, alprazolam, both benzodiazepines, anti-anxiety medications. I stared at the chemical names. "But I don't take those. I've never been prescribed those." "I know." Vinny's jaw was tight, so I called in a favor with Maria at Walgreens. She checked the records. 3 prescriptions filled in your name over the past 4 months, all picked up by Andrea. The room tilted. I grabbed the edge of his desk. "The signatures were forged," Vinny continued. "She's been using your insurance information, probably intercepting the pharmacy calls when they came to verify. These doses, Richard, over time they cause exactly what you've been experiencing. Memory loss, confusion, impaired judgment." He paused. "They make someone look incompetent. Why would Andrea do this? I was hoping you could tell me." I couldn't. My mind was racing through the past 6 months, the forgotten appointments, the times I couldn't remember conversations we'd supposedly had, Andrea's concerned looks. "Dad, you asked me to pay that bill. Don't you remember?" No, I didn't remember. "Dad, you told me to deposit that check. Did I?" I couldn't recall. "Dad, maybe we should look into getting you some help, just to be safe. She's been gaslighting me." The words came out as a whisper. "I think it's more than that." Vinny pulled out a folder. I did some checking, called an old friend who's a lawyer now. "Richard, has Andrea mentioned anything about power of attorney?" My blood went cold. "Last week. She said since I was having memory problems, maybe we should set something up, just in case. She had papers drawn up already, said it was for my protection." "Did you sign them?" "No. I said I'd think about it." Vinny leaned forward. "If she gets power of attorney while you're incapacitated, she controls everything. Your house, your pension, your savings, Helen's life insurance, everything." I thought about Kyle, Andrea's husband. I'd never liked him. Smooth talker. Always had some investment scheme going. Andrea met him 3 years ago at a real estate seminar. They got married fast. Too fast. Helen had been worried. He's using her, Helen had said one night, 2 months before the cancer took her. I can see it in his eyes. I need you to listen very carefully, Vinny said. Go home, act normal. Don't confront them yet. We need evidence, real evidence, not just pharmacy records. We need to catch them in the act. How? He handed me a business card. This is my nephew. He installs security systems. Tell Andrea you want cameras for safety. Old man living alone, that kind of thing. But what you're really doing is catching her, drugging you. I looked at the card. My hands were shaking. What if she refuses? Then you tell her the insurance company recommended it, or your old department is offering a discount to retirees. Whatever works. But get those cameras in your house. I drove home in a fog. The Tucson sun was already brutal at 8 in the morning, but I felt cold. My daughter, my little girl, the one who used to climb into my lap after bad dreams, the one who'd sobbed in my arms at Helen's funeral. She was poisoning me. When I got home, Andrea was in the kitchen making pancakes. There you are. Happy birthday, Dad. Sit down. I made your favorite breakfast. I looked at the plate she was preparing. Blueberry pancakes with extra butter and maple syrup. My mouth went dry. Actually, honey, I ate already. Big breakfast with the guys. Disappointment flickered across her face. Oh, well, I'll save these for later. Kyle came downstairs then, already in his expensive suit. He worked from home most days, trading, though I'd never seen any evidence of success. Happy birthday, Richard. Big 6-2, huh? He clapped me on the shoulder. His smile didn't reach his eyes. It never did. Thanks, Kyle. We're taking you out tonight. Andrea made reservations at that steakhouse you love. That's nice. I forced a smile. Hey, speaking of plans, I've been thinking. I'm getting older, living in this big house. Some of the guys from the department were saying I should get a security system. You know, cameras and such. Andrea's head snapped up from the pancakes. Cameras? Yeah, just for safety. There's been some break-ins in the neighborhood. There hadn't been. The insurance company is offering a discount if we install them. Motion sensors. The whole thing. I watched her face carefully. She glanced at Kyle. Something passed between them. Then she smiled. That's a great idea, Dad. Very smart. When were you thinking? I'll call today. Get someone out this week. Perfect. Her smile was bright, too bright. More coffee? No thanks. I'm good. Vinny's nephew, Danny, came out 2 days later. Young guy, mid-20s, but he knew his stuff. My uncle told me what's happening, he said quietly while Andrea was at the store. I'm putting cameras everywhere. Kitchen, living room, your bedroom, bathroom. Bathroom? She might be crushing pills and putting them in your toothpaste, your mouthwash, anything. He handed me a phone. This is linked to all the cameras. They record to a cloud server. She can't access it, can't delete it. You'll have everything. Thank you. My uncle saved my mom's life when I was a kid. House fire. I was 10. Danny looked at me. We take care of our own, you know? The cameras went up. Small, discreet. Andrea barely glanced at them. These are great, Dad. I'll sleep better knowing you're protected. That night, at dinner, I barely touched my food. Just not hungry, I said. Getting old. You need to eat, Dad. Keep your strength up. Andrea cut my steak for me. Like I was a child. I saw Kyle watching me, calculating something. When they went to bed, I opened the app on my phone, watched the kitchen camera, watched Andrea making my coffee that morning, the way she always did. And then, after she put the filter in and added the grounds, she reached into her pocket, pulled out a small plastic bag with white powder, tapped it into the coffee grounds, stirred it with her finger, put the bag back in her pocket. I had to run to the bathroom. I threw up until there was nothing left. The next morning, I pretended to drink the coffee, held the cup to my lips, tilted it, but didn't swallow. When Andrea went upstairs, I poured it down the sink. I did the same thing the next day. And the next, by the end of the week, I was thinking clearly for the first time in months. The fog was lifting. I realized how much I'd lost, how vulnerable I'd been. "Dad, I want to talk about those power of attorney papers again," Andrea said at breakfast on Saturday. "I really think it's important." "Let me think about it." "Dad, you're not thinking clearly. That's the whole point. Let me help you." I said I'll think about it. Her expression hardened for just a second. Then the concerned daughter mask slipped back on. "Okay, take your time." That afternoon, while they were out looking at a house Andrea was trying to sell, I went through their bedroom. I felt dirty doing it, but I needed to know. In Kyle's sock drawer, under the rolled-up Argyles, I found folders. Credit card statements. Maxed out, every single one. Personal loans, in default, a notice from their bank, foreclosure proceedings on their condo. They were broke, worse than broke, drowning. And I owned a house worth $500,000. Had a pension of $4,000 a month. Had Helen's life insurance money, $200,000, sitting in savings. In Andrea's nightstand, I found printouts from legal websites, how to get power of attorney for elderly parent, signs of dementia in aging parents. When is someone incompetent to manage their affairs? She'd been researching this, planning it. I heard the garage door. I put everything back exactly as I'd found it. At dinner, Kyle was more talkative than usual. "Richard, I've been thinking. You've got this big house, all this property. Have you thought about your estate planning?" "I've got a will." "Yeah, but that's not enough. Tax implications, probate, all that mess. You should really consider putting some assets in Andrea's name now. Make things easier later." "Kyle," Andrea said, a warning in her voice. "I'm just trying to help. It's smart financial planning." I looked at my daughter. She wouldn't meet my eyes. "I'll think about it," I said. That night, I called Vinny. I've got them on camera, multiple times. "Good. Call this number tomorrow." He gave me a name. "Patricia Delgado, elder abuse attorney. She's expecting you." "Vinny, I don't know if I can do this. She's my daughter. And she's poisoning you." "Richard, listen to me. What do you think happens when you actually do become incompetent? When you're drooling in a chair somewhere and she has complete control? You think she stops? You think they take care of you?" His voice softened. "Helen would want you to protect yourself." He was right. Helen always saw through people. She'd seen through Kyle. If she were here, she'd tell me to fight. I met Patricia Delgado the next day. Showed her everything. The pharmacy records, the videos, the financial documents I'd photographed. "This is elder abuse," she said. "Financial exploitation, fraud, possibly attempted theft. We can prosecute. She's my daughter. I understand. But Mr. Castellano, this doesn't stop until you stop it, and it usually gets worse." She pulled out a file. "I've been doing this for 15 years. I've seen cases where the adult child empties the accounts, sells the house, puts the parent in the cheapest facility possible, and disappears. I've seen cases where they keep upping the drugs until the parent dies, and they inherit everything. Which do you think is happening here?" I couldn't answer. "The choice is yours," Patricia said. "But choose soon, because the next time she pushes those papers in front of you, you might not be clear-headed enough to say no." That night was my birthday dinner. The reservation Andrea had made. Kyle wore his best suit. Andrea wore the pearl necklace Helen had given her for her graduation. We sat in a booth at the back of the steakhouse. "Dad, we wanted to talk to you about something," Andrea said after we'd ordered. "Here it comes," I thought. "Kyle and I have been thinking. This house, it's too much for you. The maintenance, the yard work, the memories. It might be time to sell it. Downsize to something more manageable." "You want me to sell Helen's house?" "It's not healthy, Dad. Holding on to the past. We could find you a nice condo. 1 floor, no stairs, easier for you." "And what happens to the money from the house?" Kyle leaned in. "We invest it. I've got some opportunities right now. Tech startups, cryptocurrency. We could double your money in a year." "Triple it," Andrea added. I looked at them both. My daughter, her husband, they were so earnest, so convincing. If I didn't know what I knew, I might have believed them. "No," I said. Andrea blinked. "What?" "No. I'm not selling Helen's house. I'm not giving you power of attorney. I'm not investing anything. Kyle's face darkened. Richard, that's the confusion talking. You're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking perfectly clearly. I pulled out my phone, set it on the table, opened the app, pressed play on the video from that morning. Andrea's hand reaching into her pocket, the powder going into my coffee. Andrea went white. Kyle grabbed for the phone. I pulled it back. That's nothing, Andrea said quickly. That's just supplements, vitamins, for your health. Lorazepam isn't a vitamin. She froze. I've had the coffee tested. I've had blood work done. I know everything. I looked at my daughter. Why? She started crying. Dad, you don't understand. We're in trouble, real trouble. We're about to lose everything. The condo, our credit, everything. We just needed some time, just enough to get back on our feet. So you decided to drug me? Make me think I was losing my mind? Take everything Helen and I worked for? We were going to pay you back. No, you weren't. I kept my voice steady. You were going to keep me drugged until I signed those papers. Then you were going to drain my accounts, sell my house, and probably put me in some cheap nursing home. And when the money ran out, then what? What was the plan then, Andrea? She couldn't answer. She just kept crying. Kyle stood up. You can't prove any of this. I have video of her drugging me. Pharmacy records showing forged prescriptions. Your financial statements showing your motive. And witnesses. I gestured to the restaurant. Patricia Delgado was sitting 3 tables away, watching. Next to her was a police officer I knew from the department. It's over, Kyle. He ran. Made it about 20 feet before the officer caught him. Andrea just sat there, sobbing. I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm so sorry. We were desperate. I didn't know what else to do. You could have asked for help. I would have helped you. I was too ashamed. She looked up at me. Kyle made some bad investments. Lost everything. I thought if we could just get a little money, we could fix it. We could make it right. By destroying me? She had no answer for that. The arrest happened quietly. The restaurant staff barely noticed. Patricia handled everything professionally. I watched them put handcuffs on my daughter, my little girl, the one I'd taught to ride a bike, the one who'd worn Helen's wedding veil at her own wedding. I'm sorry, Dad, she said as they led her away. I'm so sorry. I didn't respond. I couldn't. The next few months were a blur. Court dates, testimonies. Patricia was right. The case was solid. The evidence was overwhelming. Andrea and Kyle both pleaded guilty. Andrea got 3 years for elder abuse, fraud, and attempted financial exploitation. Kyle got 5 because of the forged prescriptions and because he tried to run. At sentencing, the judge asked if I wanted to speak. I stood up. My wife Helen died 2 years ago, I said. The grief almost killed me, and my daughter used that grief. She moved into our home, and instead of helping me heal, she made it worse. She made me think I was losing my mind. She took away my dignity, my autonomy, my trust. I looked at Andrea. She was crying. I loved you. I would have given you anything. All you had to do was ask. But you chose this. You chose greed over love. And that's something I can never forgive. Andrea was taken away. I haven't seen her since. She writes sometimes letters from prison. I don't open them. The house felt empty after everything. Too many memories. Too much pain. So I did what Andrea had suggested. Ironically enough, I sold it. But not for their benefit. I donated most of the proceeds to the Tucson Fire Department's Emergency Relief Fund for families facing crisis. Helen would have liked that. I used the rest to start something new. A program called Second Chances. We help elderly people who've been exploited by family members. We provide legal aid, counseling, safe housing. We teach people the warning signs. We make sure they know they're not alone. Vinny volunteers as our medical advisor. Danny installs free security systems for seniors in need. Patricia takes cases pro bono. Last month, we helped a 72-year-old woman whose son was stealing her Social Security checks. We got her money back, got him arrested, and found her a safe place to live. She hugged me after the court hearing. You saved my life, she said. Someone saved mine once, I told her. I'm just passing it along. I think about Andrea sometimes. Wonder if she understands what she did. Wonder if prison is teaching her anything. I hope so, but I don't hold my breath. Helen used to say that people show you who they really are when they think no one's watching. Andrea showed me. And as much as it hurts, I'm grateful I saw it before it was too late. I changed my will. Everything goes to second chances now, except for one thing. I'm leaving Andrea exactly $1. And a letter. The letter explains why. Explains what she destroyed. Explains that love without respect is just manipulation. Maybe she'll read it someday. Maybe she won't, but she'll know. She'll always know that she had everything, and she threw it away for nothing. Last week was the 2-year anniversary of Second Chances. We've helped 43 people so far, 43 lives saved from people they trusted, 43 families torn apart by greed. At the anniversary event, a reporter asked me, "Why do you do this? After what your daughter did to you, why spend your time helping other people's families?" I thought about it. Thought about Helen. Thought about the life we built. Thought about what Andrea destroyed and what I built in its place. Because Helen taught me that love is action, I said. It's not words, it's not intentions, it's what you do when no one else is watching. Andrea forgot that. But I didn't. I'm 64 now. I live in a small condo on the outskirts of Tucson. I can see the mountains from my window. Every morning, I make my own coffee. I know exactly what's in it. And every morning, I think about how close I came to losing everything. How easily trust can be weaponized. How the people who should protect you can sometimes be the ones who hurt you most. But I also think about the 43, the ones we saved, the ones who are free now because someone cared enough to help. Helen would be proud of that. And in the end, her approval is the only one that ever mattered. Andrea gets out in 8 months. She'll be on probation for 3 years after that. I don't know what she'll do. I don't know if she'll reach out. Part of me hopes she doesn't. Part of me hopes she's learned something. But I know this. I'll never let anyone make me feel helpless again. I'll never let trust blind me to reality again. And I'll never stop fighting for the people who can't fight for themselves. Because that's what Helen would have wanted. And because somewhere out there, there's another Andrea, another Kyle, another elderly person being drugged, manipulated, and exploited by the people who are supposed to love them. And maybe, if we're watching, we can stop them before it's too late. The way Vinny stopped it for me. The way I'm stopping it for others now. The way we all should be stopping it, but too often don't. That's the real story. Not the betrayal, not the arrest, not even the justice. The real story is what you do after. How you take your pain and turn it into purpose. How you take your worst nightmare and use it to protect others from the same fate. Helen always said I was a protector, that it's who I was, firefighter or not. She was right. I'm still protecting people, just in a different way now. And every person we save, every family we help, every predator we stop, it's a small victory against the darkness that almost consumed me. It doesn't erase what Andrea did. Nothing can. But it means she didn't win. She didn't destroy me. She just revealed who I really am, and who she really is. And that's something I can live with,